Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? It's Zenity here. Um, I don't really want to bore you with an intro, so let's just go ahead and get straight into this deck tech. I've been playing Sultai Reanimator on Best of One Arena for the past few days now. Just hit Diamond on stream yesterday. So, using this deck, so I kind of wanted to just go over it and talk about it a little bit and then show some gameplay of it. So, first of all, we've got Analyze the Pollen. Analyze the Pollen's a one drop that says search your library for a basic land card. If evidence was collected, instead search your library for a creature or land card. Reveal that card, put in your hand, then shuffle. So basically, this card is good early if you need it to use it to find a basic. It's also good late if you can exile stuff from your graveyard to maybe find your Kavaro or a piece of your combo that you're missing. That's something you can do as well. We can also search for things like Cavern of Souls if maybe we're playing up against control, things like that. So really good card just to have in the deck. There's three of them because we don't really need four. Bitter Triumph, classic removal. We're going to use this to discard some of our big guys as well as remove creatures or planeswalkers. You kind of know the drill there. Then we're looking at Brood Spinner and Bookworm. These are our two drops. Brood Spinner is a 2/3 with reach that surveils 2 when it enters. Oblivious Bookworm is a 2/3 at your end step. You loot, so you draw and then discard. These are really great ways to fuel our engine, get our graveyard full, so that we can reanimate those big boys later. Next, we're going to move on to our Saga. This is my favorite card in the deck. It's called Awaken the Honored Dead. This card is really, really awesome. We've got, so it's, Sultai colors. One of the main reasons to be in Sultai, in my opinion, here. Number one is destroy target non-permanent. Destroy target non-land permanent. So really good against killing things like monuments in the lessons deck or the simulacrum synthesizers. On top of that, you can get rid of badgers, anything that's causing problems for you, or oberoids, those types of things. Then we're going to mill 3 cards, which is great. We want to mill. This deck wants as many cards in the graveyard as possible. And then the last effect is really cool. We can discard a card from our hand and then return a creature or land from our graveyard to our hand. So let's say maybe we mill Cavern of Souls, we can get that back. Maybe we mill a Kavaro, we can discard a big character, get our Kavaro back, and reanimate and win the game from there. So really powerful card in this deck, probably the core of the deck in my opinion. If I have a hand with an Awaken in it, I'm almost always going to keep it. Then we have our reanimation spell, our only copy of reanimation in the deck. We've run 4 Kavaros. This is a creature that copies a card in you or your opponent's graveyard. It comes in as a 4/4 spider human, and you exile the card from the graveyard. So you can do things like in a mirror matchup, you can exile your opponent's big creatures. You can use it to reanimate your own big creatures, which is what we're mainly going to be trying to do, mostly Bringer of the Last Gift. So this is just our reanimation spell for the deck. Really powerful. You can use Cavern of Souls to make it uncounterable. Then we've got Harvester of Misery. This is an awesome card because, it can come in as a 5/4 with Menace, which is great, as, kind of a pseudo board wipe if our opponent has a lot of small creatures, things like Badgers, Land of War Elves, some, Earthbent lands, things like that. We can also use it as targeted removal to discard it, give something -2/2, puts a creature in our graveyard that we can then reanimate later with our Kavaro. Overlord, you've probably seen it a million times by now. This card has been in the format for a very long time, but of course we're going to run it. We're going to mill our graveyard. Hopefully we're milling a Kavaro to get that back in hand, milling some big guys at the same time. Terror of the Peaks is crazy in this deck. Absolutely insane, because if you can Kavaro into a Bringer of the Last Gift, you're going to have a bunch of big creatures hitting the board at the same time. Terror of the Peaks sees all of them, and you can basically just reanimate, ping your opponent with Terror of the Peaks for who knows how much damage, probably like 15, 16, sometimes 20, 25 damage, depending on how many things are in your graveyard, and immediately win the game just without even having to swing at your opponent. We definitely want to have one of these in the deck. It's very, very powerful, and makes it so we don't even have to go to combat to win the game. And then we've got Bringer of the Last Gift. This, of course, is our number one reanimation target most of the time. This is going to do kind of a living death type of effect where all the creatures that are on the board are going to be sacrificed, put into our graveyard, and then all the creatures that are from our graveyard that weren't sacrificed are coming out and going to be put onto the battlefield. So that's why we're trying to fill our graveyard as much as possible. We want Bringer of the Last Gift to bring out as much as it possibly can. Then we have Arden as well. Arden just gives our demons Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. So things like Bringer, and then when you have it out, if you brought it out from Kavaro, you can copy something else, maybe that you sacrifice from your graveyard or from your opponent's graveyard, create another 5/5 demon that's swinging. So even if you don't have Terror of the Peaks, Arden's going to give your demons Haste, which means you can still win on the spot by casting Kavaro. That's really the end of the deck tech. This deck is super synergistic. It's kind of almost more of a combo style. We're really trying to just jam a bunch of stuff in our graveyard, reanimate. But that's enough of what me yapping away about it. Let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. All right, let's go ahead and get into game one here. Our opponent is Vandal. This is a pretty good start. We've got Awaken, we've got our 2 low costs, we've also got Overlord to use the impending cost as well as removal. This is looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead and keep. Drew a Kavaro, also amazing. We really want to hit a 3rd land. We're going to go ahead and just Bitter Triumph this guy because this guy is a big problem in this Sultai deck. Go ahead and discard our Bringer of the Last Gift, get him in the graveyard. Play Llanowar Elves. Ideally, we're looking to draw a land here. No land, so let's go ahead and play our Bookworm. We'll draw. We can go and put our Arden in the graveyard. Next turn we can Pollen if we don't draw land, grab a basic, and then play a Brood Spinner or an Overlord. But we did slow them down without their Druneth here. We did draw land. I think in that case what we want to do probably is just go ahead and play an Awakened. We'll get rid of the Paw Patch Recruit if we can. Okay, resolves. They'll put a counter on one of their elves. Okay, and they went ahead and Floodpits Drowner on our... Okay, so we got our 4th land. That's awesome. We want to put as many big creatures in the graveyard as possible now. We're going to go ahead and put the Overlord in there. So we're probably going to take a hit this turn. The Aurora comes out. They're tapped out. Taken 3. And this is a great example of the deck against these kind of creature-based aggro decks. We're going to go ahead and cast our Kavaro. We're going to take a look at our graveyard. Opponent doesn't let us finish, but we get the Bringer out. We get all our big stuff. Everything else dies, and we win the game there. Yeah, really good showcase against those creature-based decks. It's generally pretty hard for them to keep up especially when we have a draw like that. That was a really good starting hand. Awesome. See you in the next game. All right, let's go ahead and jump into game 2 here. Yeah, the Sultai Reanimator deck tends to be better against creature-based aggressive decks or Lessons or the Artifacts deck. Struggles a lot against control. This is an interesting starting hand. We don't have any way to discard Bringer. We do have Kavaro, but relying on just drawing our discard outlets feels a bit risky. So I do think I want to mulligan this hand. It's a little bit better here. We can go ahead and just bottom the Multiversal Passage, but we have Blooming Marsh, Watery Grave, Cavern of Souls. We've got Awaken, so we've got removal. We've got an early guy, Analyze the Pollen. I think this looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and keep. Let's drop the Blooming Marsh here. I think we'll go get a land here. It's going to mean because turn 2 we're playing Bookworm, and turn 3 if we don't draw a land by then, we can't cast Awaken off of Cavern. So I want to make sure we have a land by turn 3. So let's go ahead and grab our Swamp here. Could have grabbed an island to save 2 life, so we could play the Bookworm without shocking in this Watery Grave, but that's okay. It's like red could be potentially aggro. Let's go ahead and draw. I probably want to play this next turn. Unless they play a permanent we want to kill with Awaken. We really don't need this Swamp anymore that we got earlier, which is totally fine. Go ahead and discard that. Opponent's going to shock our face. So it looks like we're dealing with another aggro deck here. Emberheart Challenger comes in. Yeah, so this is just a real simple Awaken the Honored Dead here. This is a pretty common turn 3 play where we're just going to blow up something the opponent has. We're not going to attack because we can just win and do 20 damage when we do our combo here. I'd rather keep this up if they play another Emberheart and save it as a blocker. So no attacks, draw, and we can discard our Bringer. That's perfect. And then really all we're looking for now is the Kavero. If we can mill a Kavero with the Awaken the Honored Dead, we'll get it back on the next one. He's going to ping our Bookworm, do 4 to our face, so we're down to 12. Hellkite goes away. Mill 3 cards here. Okay, did not get our Kavero. Let's go ahead and play an Overlord. No Kavero again. Let's... decline. Let's play this Cavern of Souls on human. And I guess the question is, do I think that they can do 12 damage in a single turn without any creatures? The answer is probably. But they can't play Nova Hellkite next turn. If they could play Nova Hellkite next turn, I think I would just hold up the Bitter Triumph, but because they can't play Nova Hellkite, I think I want to go ahead and cast our second Overlord. Really just trying to dig for that Kavaro. No Kavaro still. Let's go ahead and bring back a... Let's get a Brood Spinner. That'll let us have a blocker for the Nova Hellkite there that they have, in case we don't have a real playable yeah. So we block here. We want them to have to use their spells. Totally fine with that. We lose our Bookworm, but I mean he wasn't staying around for long anyway. We drew another one. Do we want to discard a card? We don't really want to discard a card here, to be honest. I think we want to play the Brood Spinner here. We've got Overlord. I think the Overlord we want to keep. Harvester we want to put away. Overlord we want to keep because if we survive next turn, which who knows if we do or not, we'll be able to dig further for that Kavaro, because that's really what we're looking for here. The question is, again, hold up Bitter Triumph. I think because they have the Emperor Heart, I do want to hold up the Bitter Triumph, so I won't do anything here. I need to be able to discard this Bookworm to the Bitter Triumph, because we do not want to take 3 damage. So they're going to go ahead and swing. We are going to block. They're probably going to do another Lightning Strike to the face, and then we're going to Bitter Triumph their other challenger. unfortunately, there's the Kavaro, but I do think it's a little too late, unfortunately. If they have a land, they're going to be able to play Nova Hellkite, do 4 damage in the air, then we just have 3. They're doing 6 damage to us between Hellkite and Emberheart Challenger, but if that's the only thing they do next turn, then they actually can't win. So I do want to take the Kavaro just because if they don't have exactly what they need, then we can win the game next turn. Now, this is a big risk. There's a potential that they just have a way to do 7 damage to us. You know, they only need 5 more. They do 2. Looks like they didn't hit the land. Okay. So we cast our Kavaro. We look at our graveyard. We grab our Bringer. Creatures come out. Harvester's a little awkward. It's going to kill their creatures. It's also going to kill some of ours as well, but ultimately that's not a big deal. We don't need 2 Kavaros. We'll go ahead and mill. We can mill both of these. We do have a Bale Overlord trigger. Throw him in there. Keep throwing these in there. And we'll get back a Kavaro for next turn. Alright, so we weren't able to win on the spot there because of the 2 Harvesters of Misery. Does kind of make some awkward interactions sometime. Maybe we only need to run one of these, because having both of them come out can be a little awkward. But we do have a huge board. I don't really know how our aggro opponent's supposed to deal with this. And here we can essentially just do Kavaro again. Because right now, do we have lethal? Let's see. He has to double block one of these or single block this. If he single blocks this or double blocks, yeah, I think he's just dead either way, right? Because these have Menace. That's 12, 17. Yeah, looks like this should be lethal here. And even if it's not, we can cast Kavaro on end step or before end step. But yeah, looks like that should be good enough. Again, playing against an aggro deck, that tends to be pretty favorable for us. We did take a risk. We had an opportunity, or they had an opportunity to kill us there when we had 7 life, but managed to get what we needed there in the end, thanks to the Overlord. All right, and I'll see you guys in game 3. Alrighty, here we go. Hopping into game 3 here. Our first 2 matchups were against more aggressive decks. Hopefully we can see something a little bit less aggro-oriented. Get some more versatility for how the deck kind of looks against different matchups. Gindo 70. This is a wonderful starting hand. This is incredible. So turn 2, we can play our Bookworm. We can discard Bringer. We also have Bitter Triumph to discard Bringer if we need to do that later. We also have Kavaro in our hand. This is an incredible starting hand here. Let's go ahead and keep that. We're going to play our Undercity Sewers for a Surveil. I think we want to keep the Overlord. We're definitely playing Bookworm next turn, but Overlord is a great option for turn 3 here. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Gene Pollinator. This is probably some kind of ramp Badger Mole deck. Let's go ahead and play our Bookworm. Let's get rid of our Bringer. Drew another Bookworm. That's okay. Soul Cauldron. Very nice. Okay, so that is some graveyard hate here. Let's go ahead and drop our Hedge Maze. Take a little look. Blooming Marsh. Blooming Marsh doesn't come in untapped anymore, so we want to go ahead and get rid of that. Let's get that graveyard filled. Let's go ahead and just play this Overlord. Because he played the Cauldron, we just want to get a bunch of our big guys in the graveyard as much as possible here. So, yeah, we're going to bring back this Kavaro. Ideally, next turn we draw into a land, or maybe with this Bookworm here. We'll go ahead and get in for 2 damage. The Gene Pollinator is really just not... It's not going to do any damage here. He's going to block, which is interesting. I guess he can sacrifice with the Gene Pollinator. Oh, that's okay. That's fair. That's fair. Yep, that's okay. We'll draw. Get rid of a Bringer. Yeah, Soul Cauldrons definitely causes some issues with this deck. We need to be able to mill a little bit faster here. Insidious Roots. Esper Origins. Okay. No land. Let's keep filling up with the Overlord here. Pretty bad mill. We milled to analyze the pollen, which is just not great, but we are going to give 2 damage with our Bookworm here. Ideally, we draw a land. That would be really nice. Because unfortunately, he's going to keep exiling our Bringers and things like that. So what we really need is our land so that we can do our Kavaro stuff quickly. So here we go. We've got the Passage. Let's go ahead and discard another Bookworm here. Treasure's Insight. So he's going to trigger his Roots. It's going to gain a life. You can play Scavenging Ooze, which is another big problem for us. Yeah, he's got a lot of answers to our deck here. Unfortunately, our mills also just have not been creature dense, which is unfortunate. Let's go ahead and play a Brood Spinner. See if we can surveil some creatures into the graveyard. There's another Arden. And then we'll go ahead and discard a card to get rid of the Scavenging Ooze so that that's not a problem for us anymore. We'll just go ahead and discard a Kavaro because we don't need 2. He can just Soul Cauldron his own Skoos, but that does mean then that he's not exiling one of our creatures. So he does get the Skoos. Yep, and now all of his creatures can exile, which is very rough for us. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. The Awaken the Honored Dead might save us here if Terra is okay. He gets back an enchantment. Triggers his Roots. Yeah, we're kind of getting into dangerous territory here. We really need to be able to resolve our Kavaro and grab something good, but he can still exile all sorts of stuff from our graveyard. So here we're going to cast the Awaken the Honored Dead. He's going to Soul Cauldron something. But he will lose the ability. I mean, he's going to probably Soul Cauldron as well as tap all his stuff to exiled because they all have the Scooz ability. So yeah, doing really well against our strategy here. He's got pretty much perfect answers. Yep, more exile. It's going to exile the Brood Spinner, exile the Kavaro. Yep. But we do finally get rid of the Soul Cauldron. We're not going to attack here. We're going to draw. Another Awaken the Honored Dead. Could use that to get rid of the roots. But then we don't have Kavaro, but we also don't have anything in our graveyard to actually get Kavaro with anyway. So maybe we just stick with the Honored Dead here. Try to play a little bit longer of a game. Go ahead and give that a try. We are going to get the Overlords too. Maybe they can swing and get back a Kavaro. He plays his own Overlord. Gets the Bloodghast. Triggers Roots, triggers Dredger's Insight. So we might be taking a bit of damage here. When this creature enters, return target non-creature on the purple card. Oh, so he's going to get... Oh, his own Awaken the Honored Dead. Very interesting. So he'll kill ours. It's not the end of the world. We'll go ahead and block the 7/5. We can take 8 here, I guess. It's not looking great. Fortunately, that is maybe a little bit too late here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the... Hard to say. Because we could we're probably just dead to roots, I think. But we want to get rid of the Terra. That's the biggest thing on their board. And then let's go ahead and just see what we draw with the Bookworm. Yeah, let's discard that. Our Overlord does come up. They mill 3 cards. Yeah, they're going to be able to... those if they play a land, those Bloodghasts are going to be able to have haste and swing. So, a bit rough here. He plays Awaken. Kills our Baelmerk. Goes to attacks. We are going to have to block here. Yep, they got a FOMO. They're going to draw discard. Discard, draw. A Cavern of Souls. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to do it. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to do it. So we do drop the game here. They managed to have their Agatha's Soul Cauldron and their Scavenging Ooze really early in the game, which made it very hard for us to combo, even though we had a great start. So they did a really good job of keeping us in check while building up their board. And unfortunately, we weren't able to keep up quite enough. So go ahead and call it on that one. We will play our Cavern. Let's name Human. We're going to play our Harvester. Kill one of their creatures. Get a Baelmerk back, but they are going to be able to attack and end us here very easily. Yeah, and they're Roots is going to trigger as well. Blood gas come out. And the big swing, he's going to untap the big boy. And that's the end. Nice job by the opponent there. Definitely had some solid graveyard hate in that deck. Haven't seen a lot of Insidious Roots, so that was really cool to play against, honestly. I used to play a lot of Insidious Roots a few sets ago. Anyway, thanks for watching Game 3, and we'll see you in the Game 4 and the final game coming up. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our fourth and final game here. Had a couple of really good games against aggro, and then lost to an Insidious Roots deck that did a really great job of keeping our graveyard in check with Scavenging Ooze and Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So hopefully we can dodge that, but we've got a great starting hand here with Bookworm, Overlord, Bitter Triumph. We can discard our Arden, so let's go ahead and keep. Thundering Falls. Looks like it could be maybe Jeskai Control. Drawing a Cavero is great. Let's keep our fourth land here. Next turn we're going to play... We're actually going to play the Verge, because we needed the Verge to be able to play the the Bookworm on turn 2. We'll go ahead and play it. He maybe has a kill spell or something. That's totally fine. Just to consult the star charts, sure. But it is definitely Jeskai Control. This is another kind of weaker matchup for us. They tend to have some graveyard hate going on, so things can get a little bit dicey here. Next turn, our plan is to play Blooming Marsh and impend our Overlord, but they drop a split up already, which is pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and Overlord. We get a Bringer in there. That's great. We can bring back the Bookworm. Maybe we don't want to bring back the Bookworm there, usually. Unfortunately, we don't have our Cavern of Souls, so playing a Cavero out here feels a little bit rough, so I will just play a Bookworm. Go ahead and hold up Bitter Triumph, just in case they play maybe like an Elspeth or something. Not exactly sure if Jeskai Control plays any real threats in that way, but we got another Arden in there. River Regent, so they're going to draw some cards. Put the board wipe away. There's 2 board wipes in their graveyard now, meaning they probably have a Day of Judgment, I would assume. Okay. Let's go ahead and get a Surveil here. Brood Spinner. Brood Spinner's a card I want to play, so I think I want to keep that. Let's go ahead and get in for 2. And we're going to go ahead and end there. We'll draw off of the Bookworm. It's hard to cast Cavero into this control deck because they're just holding up counter spells most of the time. At some point, we're probably just going to have to run it in anyway and then play our Awaken to try to get Cavero back. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So let's go ahead and run him out just to try. But I'm sure he'll get No More Lies or some other wonderful counter spell that our opponent has here. 3 steps ahead. Yep, you got it, man. All right, let's go ahead and swing for 2. Let's play our Brood Spinner. Get our Surveil. Baelmerk is great. Bitter Triumph we don't need at all. Draw. Let's go ahead and drop the other Bitter Triumph since we clearly are never going to need that. Okay, we'll go ahead and play an Overlord here. We do hit a Kavaro. So we're going to go ahead and just try to Kavaro again. They couldn't do their Jeskai Revelation now. If they want. They could also have the Kutsil, what is it, the Kutsil Flanker that exiles graveyards in response to this. That'd be a good answer that I've seen before. So looks like it's going to be the Jeskai Revelation. Let's go ahead and play this land out. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do attack for 4. Draw. Let's go ahead and bin the Brood Spinner here. Overlord comes online. This is what I mean by struggling against control. They can kind of just hold up counter spells the whole time. They get to do a lot of stuff while, you know, they're going to probably wipe the board here, but they can still hold up, like, you know, maybe a No More Lies or a 3 steps ahead. So makes it kind of hard for us. Let's go ahead and try again. And he's got the flanker this time, so we do still get a 4/4, which is something. But we'll go ahead and Honor Dead, kill the flanker. Pyromancer's Goggles. It's to double up on instants and sorceries. That is fun. Fun stuff there. Let's go ahead and Overlord. We're going to do another Overlord. All right. Yeah, we probably want to bring back another. Let's bring back the Brood Spinner here. We're going to go ahead and get in for 4 if we can. And then we will play the Brood Spinner. Get Arden in the graveyard. Draw our Kavaro next turn. He's going to draw 3, discard 1. He's probably looking for flanker number 2. Maybe he's got a Rest in Peace. He's got a stock up here. We do have a lot going on our board. He's got the Overlords he's got to deal with. But we are running out of cards in our deck. We've only got 18 left. Something we got to be aware of. It'd be great if he just did a Jeskai Revelation here. I mean, there would be no reason to, I suppose. You just wait. Draws 3, discards 2 again. Or discards 1. Consult the star charts. Wow, and we end up winning. He did not find what he needed. Wow, very surprised we ended up winning that game. I'm not sure if maybe he just was drawing lands, maybe. That could have been it. But a surprising win against Jeskai there. Usually that's a tough matchup. Cool. That's the final game we got here in the deck tech. I will see you guys in the wrap-up. All right. Hey, thanks for watching those games. We ran into a couple aggro decks early on in games 1 and 2. Game 3, we lost to Insidious Roots, and game 4, we had a surprising victory against Jeskai Control. Again, you can kind of see the resilience of the deck. Even though our graveyard got exiled in that last game, we were able to come back, refill the graveyard, and present a threat that our opponent wasn't really able to deal with. We got pretty lucky that they seemed to not draw well and they conceded. But that's cool. That's the way Magic goes. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you are new here, please like and subscribe. I'll be making more of these videos. I'm trying to do at least one a week. I'm really enjoying Standard right now. I know that's kind of crazy to say. Badger Mole's running everywhere. Lessons is running everywhere. But it's really kind of fun to try to figure out this format. Sultai Reanimator has been a great answer to some of the stronger decks that have come out. But there are also some really good answers to this Sultai Reanimator deck as well that I've run into. So it definitely seems sort of like a rock, paper, scissors format at the moment. And in my opinion, that is kind of a good thing. We'll see how the format develops. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video.